Hello everyone, this is Sudhir Kumar Dwivedi, Assistant Professor of Law from Gemtech School of Law, Greater Noida. The topic for today's lecture is affidavit, its format, under the subject drafting, pleading and conveyancing. First of all, let's try to understand what is affidavit. As per Order 19 of Code of Civil Procedure 1908, the affidavit is a sworn statement or a statement on oath of the facts by a person who is familiar with the facts and circumstances which have taken place, and the person who is giving the statement on oath is known as the deponent. In the affidavit, the contents are true or correct to the knowledge of the person who signed it, and he has nothing concealed material therefrom. It is believed that the person who has signed the affidavit, he has stated the thing as per his knowledge, and he has not concealed material thing. That's why he has signed it. And it is also the duty and the attestation of this notary is take place before the oath commissioner or by the person oath commissioner appointed by the court, or a notary appointed by the court of law. And it is the duty of the notary and oath commissioner is to ensure that the signature of the deponent is not forged. The affidavit must be paragraphed and numbered as per the provision of the code. Now let's see what is the meaning of the affidavit. Though the word affidavit has not been defined anywhere in the Code of Civil Procedure or in the Code of Criminal Procedure, but in common expression it is considered as a statement on oath and has been made in writing, especially under an oath or affirmation before an authorized officer or magistrate. Those authorized officer may be notary or oath commissioner, or it may be any magistrate, or it may be any other person which has been authorized by the court of law to get the approve the affidavit. Now, what is the requirement or essentials of the essential attributes of an affidavit? First of all, it must be a declaration made by a person. Second, it must relate to the facts, not reference from the same. Third, it must be in the first person, means whatever is in the knowledge of the person should be stated. It is not that he heard so and someone told him so and so. These types of facts are not stated in the affidavit. It must be in writing, and it must be sworn statement made or affirmed before a magistrate or any authorized officer. Now, contents of the affidavit, as already discussed, that the affidavit should be confined to such facts as the deponent is able to prove to his personal knowledge, except an interlocutory application on which the statement of his belief may be admitted. Whatever has been stated in the affidavit must be on his personal knowledge. Let's see some important points about the affidavit. Number 1, a court may order that any fact may be proved by affidavit. Ordinarily, a fact has to be proved by oral evidence. As we have discussed, we know that the affidavit is generally not considered as a evidence, but sometimes court may order under circumstances that any fact should be proved by way of affidavit. The second point is that, as I already told you, that affidavit is not defined even in Indian Evidence Act, and it can be used as evidence only if for the sufficient reason the court invokes the provision of Order 19 of the Code of Civil Procedure. However, the court may allow that certain fact may be proved by way of the affidavit, but we know there is a concept of the natural justice, and if any fact has been made on affidavit, then the person who has made the statement on affidavit must be available for the purpose of the cross examination as well. The next point is that an affidavit should be confined to such facts as the deponent is able to prove to his personal knowledge, except on an interlocutory application on which statement of his belief may be admitted. We have already discussed these things, that whatever has been stated in the affidavit must be of his personal knowledge. And if the affidavit has not been properly filed as per rule, the court may reject the affidavit or may ask the party to present a different affidavit or a proper affidavit. Next point is that ordinarily the interlocutory applications such as interim injunction, the appointment of the receiver, etc. can be decided on the basis of the affidavit. Suppose whether any injunction has been issued, receiver has been appointed or not. These facts may be stated in the affidavit and the court may admit these facts. And if a person has filed a wrong affidavit, false affidavit before the court, the person may be liable under section 191, 193, 195, 199 of the IPC. Section 193 provides for the punishment for giving the false evidence. As per this, any person who intentionally gives the false evidence at any stage of judicial proceeding or fabricates false evidence for the purpose of being used in any stage of a judicial proceeding shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. And whoever intentionally gives or fabricates false evidence in any other case shall be punished with the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall be liable to fine. Means if you are giving a false evidence in any judicial proceeding, you may be liable for the punishment up to 7 years, and if you are giving or fabricating false evidence in any other matter, then you may be liable for the 3 years. So if you are giving a false affidavit, and that affidavit, as we know, we have discussed that affidavit may be considered as evidence. In that case, if it is a judicial proceeding, the person who is giving the false affidavit may be liable for the imprisonment up to 7 years, and if it is not a judicial proceeding, the person who is giving the false evidence may be liable for the punishment up to 3 years. Let's see the format of the affidavit. First of all, it will be stated like that: in the court of, if affidavit is to be filed before the district judge Delhi, then in the court of district judge, district Sadra Saket Dwarkabad is the court Delhi, then suit number and then year and under what other suit has been filed, that also is to be mentioned here. After that, in which case the affidavit is to be filed, then the detail of the plaintiff and then detail of the defendant must be given, as we have discussed in plain and written statement. When we talk about the detail of the plaintiff or defendant, it means the whole full detail. It means the name, age, gender and the address. And if the person is appearing in some capacity, like if the person is the authorized director of the company, then detail regarding that should be given, that he is a director of the, if the company is the plaintiff, then if the director is representing, then it must be the statement that through his director so and so as a plaintiff. It must be stated like that. After that, the statement will be who is the person who is giving the statement, like affidavit of so and so person, he is the son of so and so person. About what is the age of the person, it must be stated that I so and so, son of so, aged about so and so, residence of so and so, in the capacity of, suppose he is the director of a company, in the capacity of director of so and so company limited, I, then again I, then the name of the person who is giving the statement, the deponent, here in above do hereby solemnly affirm and state hereunder. Then only the statement will come like that: I say that I am authorized representative director of the plaintiff of the company, and I am aware of the facts and circumstances of the present suit based upon the record of the plaintiff maintained in the ordinary course of business, and I am duly authorized and competent to share and file the present suit and affidavit. Then like the second statement, maybe I say that the accompanying suit has been drafted and filed by my counsel upon my instruction, and the contents of the same are true and correct. As we discussed, that the statement in the affidavit will be like whatever has been stated in the plain or written statement is in the personal knowledge of the person, and he has instructed the advocate to draft a plaint like that. And third statement, that I say that the documents filed along with the plaint are true copies of the original. Like that, if when the student take admission in the college, generally the affidavit is asked from the students that whatever document you have submitted is true. In the same way, whatever document has been filed with the plaint or written statement, and the statement regarding that must come in the affidavit, that whatever has been document has been attached with the plaint or written statement is true. After that, there will be sign of deponent. As we know, the deponent is the person who is giving the statement in the affidavit. He will sign on the affidavit after the just after the below the statement. And in last, there will be again a verification clause, like when like it was in the plaint or like it was in the written statement. Same way, there will be a verification clause in the affidavit as well, like I so and so name do hereby verify on this date, month, year, and place that the contents of the above said affidavit are true and correct to my knowledge and information, and nothing material has been concealed therefrom. Means the verification clause is always like that, whatever has been stated in the previous in the earlier part of the document is true as per my knowledge, or is true as per my information, and nothing substantive has been concealed from the, nothing material point has been concealed therefrom. And in after that, after the verification clause, there will be again the sign of the deponent. Why the again the sign of the deponent is taken after verification clause? It is like that, you can say the again that verifying the cross checking the statement, that oh, if suppose I have stated something to the advocate and he has drafted something, and I can take believe I have stated like that, but the person has drafted like that. That's why the verification clause has been put in every document, that once if it has been even the drafted by your advocate, it is your duty to verify each and every statement after reading the things. That's why such verification clause has been mandatory in always in all type of you can say the legal document when we file before the court. That's all about the concept of the affidavit and the format of the affidavit. Thank you.